Marcus slammed the eviction notice against his kitchen counter so hard the coffee mug next to it rattled and fell to the floor, shattering into pieces, just like everything else in his life. He stared at it. 32 years old. No savings. No plan. No floor left to hit. His phone buzzed. A text from his mother. "Just checking on you, baby. You okay?" He typed back, "I'm good, Mom. Everything's fine." He was not fine. He hadn't been fine in over a year. His startup had collapsed 6 months ago, taking everything with it, his apartment, his reputation, and most of his confidence. He was sleeping on his college friend Devin's couch, eating cereal for dinner, and lying awake at 3 a.m. doing math that never added up. That evening, he found an unmarked envelope slipped under Devin's front door. No return address. Just his name, typed perfectly in the center. Inside was a business card, matte black, embossed gold lettering, and a single sentence printed on thick paper. "We can solve your problem. One meeting. No obligation." He should have thrown it away. He didn't. The address on the card led Marcus to a high-rise downtown, 42nd floor, floor-to-ceiling windows, a waiting room that smelled like money and silence. There was no logo on the wall. No receptionist chatting on a phone. Just clean lines, soft lighting, and a man in a perfectly fitted charcoal suit who stood when Marcus walked in and extended his hand like he had been expecting him for years. "Mr. Marcus Webb," the man said, smiling. "Thank you for coming. My name is Mr. Calloway. Please, sit." Marcus sat. "What is this place?" "We're called Avum Solutions. We specialize in life restructuring." "Life restructuring," Marcus repeated slowly. "What does that mean?" Calloway opened a slim folder and slid a single sheet across the glass table. "It means we give you exactly what you need. In your case, $10 million, deposited within 24 hours of signing, and in return, we take something small from you. Something you won't even notice is gone." Marcus looked at the sheet. His eyes found the number, $10 million, and his throat tightened. "And what do you take?" "1 year," Calloway said simply. 1 year removed quietly from the end of your natural lifespan. You won't feel it. You won't know when it would have been. Life continues completely normally, just slightly shorter at the very end, when you're old, tired, and likely ready anyway. Marcus laughed. He actually laughed out loud. "You're serious?" "Completely. That's insane. How does that even work?" "The how isn't something we disclose," Calloway said, sliding a thick binder across the table. "What we can show you are our clients. Real names. Real lives. Current net worth. All thriving." Marcus opened the binder with skeptical hands that slowly stopped trembling and started turning pages instead. Doctors. Entrepreneurs. Athletes. A retired school teacher in Ohio worth $40 million who had signed at 51. All of them alive. All of them wealthy. None of them complaining. "The contract is 11 pages, Calloway said. "Take it home. Read every word. If you decide it's not for you, we never met." Marcus took the contract home. He read it twice that night, alone under Devin's kitchen light. He almost didn't sign. He told himself he wouldn't. He made himself a deal. Just read it, put it down, sleep on it, and throw it away in the morning when he was thinking clearly. He signed at 2:17 a.m. By noon the next day, $10 million was sitting in his account. The first thing Marcus did was sit in his car for 20 minutes without moving, just staring at his banking app like it might disappear if he blinked. Then he called his mother. "Mom, I need you to listen to me," he said, his voice cracking the moment she picked up. "I need you to write down your account number." "Marcus, what's going on? You're scaring me." "Mom, write it down. I'm sending you $200,000 right now and I need you to stop arguing with me about it." She cried. He cried. He sat in that parking lot and let himself feel it for exactly 4 minutes before pulling himself together and stepping back into the world as a different man. Within 30 days he had a penthouse, a new wardrobe, and a car he used to slow down just to stare at through dealership windows. He paid off every debt, every last cent, and felt each one lift off his chest like removing bricks one by one. He hired a financial advisor, invested aggressively, and launched a new consulting firm that, this time, actually had capital behind it. People who hadn't returned his calls in over a year were suddenly texting him to grab lunch. For 6 months, Marcus Webb was untouchable. He was magnetic. Every room he walked into felt like it had been waiting for him. He traveled. He laughed loudly at dinner tables surrounded by people who actually made him feel alive. He slept without that crushing weight on his chest for the first time in years. Standing on his penthouse balcony one warm evening, looking out over the city lights stretching endlessly in every direction, he told himself, "This is it. This is what I was always supposed to have." But then came the rooftop party in late October, and everything began to unravel. The man was standing near the bar alone. Early 40s, maybe, but worn far beyond his years in a way that had nothing to do with age. His hands trembled slightly when he lifted his glass. His eyes moved slowly around the room like someone who had forgotten how to feel safe anywhere. Then his gaze dropped to Marcus's watch, the brushed gold Avon client gift included in his welcome package, and the color drained instantly from his face. He crossed the room and grabbed Marcus firmly by the arm. "How long ago did you sign?" Marcus stiffened. "Excuse me. How long ago?" the man repeated, voice dropping to barely a whisper, urgent and raw. "With Avon. The contract. How long ago?" Marcus glanced around nervously. 6 months. "Why? Who are you?" "My name doesn't matter. Listen to me very carefully." The grip on his arm tightened. "Find out what year they took. Page 9. Paragraph 4. Read it again, read every word this time." Before Marcus could respond, 2 broad-shouldered men in dark suits materialized beside them and guided the stranger away with quiet, practiced efficiency. The man kept his eyes locked on Marcus over his shoulder until the elevator doors closed between them. Marcus left the party without saying goodbye to anyone. He found his contract at midnight, sitting on his penthouse floor in his expensive suit, hands cold, flipping directly to page 9. Paragraph 4. Dense, suffocating legal language. He had to read it 3 times before the meaning fully landed in his chest like something heavy dropped from a great height. The year extracted shall be determined by Avon Solutions at its sole discretion, defined as the calendar year of greatest projected life satisfaction for the signatory. He read it again, then once more. Then he sat very still in the silence of his beautiful apartment and felt the floor shift beneath him. They didn't take a year from the end of his life. They took the best year he was ever going to have. Not the longest. Not the final. The year where everything, love, purpose, peace, meaning, was projected to arrive together in the same season. The single greatest year of his entire existence. Quietly extracted and handed over in exchange for a number on a screen. Marcus didn't sleep that night. He spent the next 2 weeks making calls, tracking down other Avon clients, piecing together a pattern that made him feel increasingly sick the clearer it became. A former professional runner named James told him over the phone in a voice completely drained of energy, "I have everything, Marcus. The house, the cars, the money. And I feel absolutely nothing. Like something inside me was switched off and nobody told me where the switch was." A woman named Priya described waking up one morning and realizing that joy had simply stopped being fully available to her. Not depression, not illness, just a permanent dimming, like a light source removed from a room that now only ever got partially bright. "I keep waiting to feel it again," she said quietly. "I don't think I will." A billionaire named Garrett hadn't left his estate in over a year. When Marcus finally reached him, Garrett spoke slowly, carefully, like a man choosing each word to make sure he got it exactly right. "I kept waiting for it to feel like enough. It never does. I understand now why it never will." Marcus pulled his own file. Using documents his private investigator had partially obtained from Avon's projection model, he found the calculation assigned to him. His year of greatest projected life satisfaction was next year. At 33, he would have met someone who changed the entire axis of his life. He would have built something that finally felt like it was worth building. He would have woken up one morning and felt, completely and without question, at peace with exactly who he was. He had signed it away at 2:17 in the morning, desperate and alone, for a number that looked like freedom. He went back to the 42nd floor. Same waiting room, same silence, same Calloway, rising from his chair when Marcus walked in, hand extended, smiling like the world was perfectly in order. "Mr. Webb, it's wonderful to see you." "Don't," Marcus said quietly. Page 9, paragraph 4. "You took my best year." Calloway held his gaze and nodded once, slowly. "We took exactly what the contract specified. Which you agreed to. I want it back." Without a word, Calloway reached into his desk drawer and placed a fresh contract on the table between them. Clean, crisp, already prepared, as if this moment had always been part of the plan. To restore 1 year of projected peak life satisfaction, Calloway said, his voice smooth and unhurried, the exchange rate is 3 years from your natural lifespan. Standard retrieval terms. Marcus stared at the contract for a long time. 3 ordinary years, perhaps the quiet final ones, mornings with coffee and people he loved and the slow, unhurried rhythm of a life winding down gently, to reclaim the single year where everything extraordinary was supposed to happen. He picked up the pen. And the story holds its breath right there, in that pause between the decision and the consequence, because what Marcus chose next matters far less than the question his story leaves sitting in the chest of everyone who hears it. Most people will never sit across from a man named Calloway in a high-rise office. But every single day, quietly and without fanfare, people make their own version of that trade. They sell their best years to fear, to waiting, to chasing things that look like success from a distance and feel like nothing once they finally arrive. They sign their own paragraph 4s without ever reading the fine print. Marcus had a choice the night he opened that envelope under Devon's front door. He had a choice again at 2:17 in the morning with a pen in his trembling hand. And he had a choice when he sat across from Calloway for the second time, a fresh contract waiting on the glass between them. The question was never really about Marcus. What would you have done? And more importantly, what are you doing right now, today, with the year that hasn't been taken from you yet?